I'm simply saying this, folks, and I hope that you know that we've taken this journey together so that you might realize that it's possible for the kingdom of man to decline and the kingdom of God to be doing just fine. Just fine. They're two different kingdoms. It's possible, you see, for the kingdom of man with all of its institutions to decline. I need to mention that in China, where the church was so oppressed during communism, and I'm not in favor of communism, I'm not in favor of oppression, and I fear persecution because I don't know what I'd do if persecution came. I hope I do the right thing, but I don't know. But I need to tell you that the church has grown a lot more in China than it has in Taiwan with all of its freedom. I do need to tell you that. It is possible, you see, for a state to decline. It is possible for the city of man to go downhill and the city of God to rise up to fill the vacuum and see God do something wonderful in the midst of it. I'm here to encourage you and let you know that our destiny as a church is not dependent upon the next election that is going to take place in the United States. We have a higher leader. We have a higher calling. We belong to that city which hath foundations, whose builder and maker is God. We are going in different directions. Yes, for this brief time we intersect, but the city of man and the city of God will separate forever, finally, in the end. And that's why we aren't complainers. If I'm flying from Los Angeles to Chicago home and I have a stop off in Atlanta, I don't get all uptight about the fact that the washrooms in the Atlanta airport aren't carpeted and there's inadequate lighting and some of the fixtures are dirty. I don't get shook. Why? I'm just passing through. I'm on my way home. Remember the years ago when we used to sing, "This world wasn't my home," and some people actually believed it. Because we belong to another country, another city with another leader. And our responsibility is to pick up the pieces of a crumbling society. What a day and age in which to live. So that we speak to the homeless and to that pregnant mother, and we minister to her in a daycare center. And we talk to those who are going through times of financial distress and those single mothers, God bless them, whose homes have been ravaged by divorce and immorality and alcoholism. And we move in and we take over and we represent Jesus to them. That's what we do when society crumbles. Not to save America, but we're committed to saving Americans. That's God's agenda. Excellencies. Remember that story that comes to us from the turn of the century? That Boxer rebellion, called the Boxers, by the way, because they used to do calisthenics there in China. And during those terrible times, Christians were going through times of persecution that were horrendous. They marched into the school with guns, this Christian school, about 100 students, and they said, "We want all of you to come out because we've laid a cross down on the step. If you step on the cross, thereby despising it, you'll live. If you walk around the cross, you'll be shot." The first 8 students stepped on the cross, and their lives were spared. But the 9th was a girl. And she stood and she knelt there beside the cross, asking God to give her the grace to do what she knew she should do. And she very quietly walked around the cross in respect of it and was mowed down. All the other students in the school followed her example. 90 children killed because they were Christians. Were they losers? Were they losers because they didn't know anything about the American way of life? No, my friend, it is possible to lose in the city of man and win forever in the city of God. We belong to a different country with a different set of values, with a different commander, and we are in march to a different drummer. And what we must do is to represent Christ well in a nation that is crumbling around us, looking for answers. And we must call forth the excellencies of Him who has called us out of darkness into His marvelous light. Go today in peace to your neighborhood, to your home, to your apartment, to your place of work tomorrow and say, "I represent Christ." That's what we do when paganism encroaches.
Well, this is Pastor Lutzer, and of course I didn't mean to imply that we should go and hold ourselves up as Christ's representatives, simply making that declaration. What I was interested in is us living out the gospel by serving our communities, by showing our humility, our love for Christ, by developing credibility by the way in which we live, so that when we do give the gospel to people, they don't simply respond by saying, "Spare me." No, we must be able to give the gospel of Jesus Christ with a sense of integrity, and our own lives should show forth, as the text says, the excellencies of Him who has called us out of darkness into His marvelous light.
Thank you, Dr. Lutzer. On today's Running to Win broadcast, Dr. Erwin Lutzer concluded The Cross and the Flag, the second of 8 messages in his series on why the cross can do what politics can't. Tomorrow, we turn our attention to what God thinks of the cross. Running to Win comes to you from the Moody Church in Chicago. When it comes to faith and politics, we do need clear teaching. This 8-part CD series can be yours as our thank you when you give a gift of any amount to support the ministry of Running to Win. Just call us at 1-800-215-5001. That's 1-800-215-5001. Online, go to offerrtw.com. That's offerrtw, all one word, .com. Or write to Running to Win at Box 11174, Chicago, Illinois 60611. This is Dave McAllister. Join us for tomorrow's Running to Win.